Hi, friends. This is Discover with Jane, and today we have an episode with a guest. Sarah is a wellness expert, and I've asked her to talk about stress, immigration, and productivity for all kinds of professionals. Thank you, Sarah, for coming to this podcast. I will let you introduce yourself, so please.
Okay, thank you very much for the invitation, Jane. I'm really excited to share my experiences, also my knowledge with you and also with your audience. Well, my name is Sarah Sachs. Over the past 20 years, I've been dedicating myself to the area of personal development, and I also worked as a researcher for 8 years in the area of biochemistry and molecular biology. Also, in the past 7 years, I had a lot of changes in my life. I made a career transition. I had a son, moved to different countries twice. So that gave me a lot of opportunities to train my adaptability, my resilience, my distress management. And fortunately, I had already learned these tools to cope with all these challenges and tools that I teach on my courses. My passion is to share information and to help people improve their quality of life and their performance. And for that, I created a platform where I share some information about techniques, about habits, how to optimize your vitality, your longevity, and working on your body, on your emotions, and also on your mind as a whole. I also offer personalized consultancy and workshops and courses on in this platform. Well, I think this is a broad introduction.
I was inspired by your story of immigration because I'm an immigrant too, but come from completely different part of the world. I come from Russia, living in Montenegro, but Sarah, I believe you come from Brazil and live in Portugal right now. Am I right?
Now I'm living in Italy. Yeah, I'm Brazilian living in Italy.
Yeah. Just please tell us about your immigration story because it's important part of my life, the immigration process, and it's important part of the lives of many people who are watching, I believe. So just please share your immigration journey with us.
Okay, so I decided to immigrate after spending 1 year of my PhD in Germany. So between 2013 and 2014, I was in Germany. When I returned to Brazil, I realized I wanted to live for a longer time abroad. So me and my husband started to planning and to consider which part we want to go. It was really planned, my immigration. And after how many years? 5 years. We moved 2014. I have the desire to immigrate, and I moved to Portugal in 2019. So there was a lot of time to plan this immigration. So we decided to Portugal because, yeah, we have a lot of things that make that easier. First, the language. Portugal is in Brazil. We speak Portuguese. This will be easier to move. Then we have contacts in Portugal. That's also make it a lot of easy to have someone that we know there. And also Portugal and Brazil have some agreements that makes like my husband career as civil engineer. He don't need to validate his graduation because Portugal and Brazil governments have disagreements. So a lot of things that help us to make this move easier for us. So we chose Portugal first. After 4 years and a half in Portugal, we moved to Italy. Now we live on this north Italy. Is an autonomous region called South Tyrol, really near to the Austrian border. And here is a bilingual region. So they speak Italian and also German. But more than 70% of the population has German as the first language. So it's more German than Italian here.
Wow, yeah, I would think of Tyrol as being Austria.
Yeah, this is really near from Austria in South Tyrol.
Yeah, and 5 years already, such a long journey. This is amazing. And this is, I think, a valuable experience because my immigration was more or less spontaneous. So, could you please share the steps you took for your planning process?
Okay, so we started to think about what we value the most. For us, at this process of deciding where to go, we considered Canada also. But then we visit Canada to know how it was because we have never been there before. We didn't like the way of living because we were looking for a more slow style of life as Europe is. So South America, North America are really more accelerated style of life, and here in Europe is more slowly, and that was something that we like, me and my husband, and then we decided to Europe. Then all the things that make it easier for us to choose Portugal first, the language. So if you have time to prepare yourself with the local language, it's very important to communicate well. All the process to get the visa. So my husband has both citizenship, Italian and Brazilian. He don't need the visa. I have the right to be here also with a family visa. Then about career, you need to see if you need to validate your certificate, your graduation, how is the process, you can do this or not, or you will have a career transition and make another thing. Everything you need to plan and to consider financially also, if you have the money to pay the stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of things that we spend a lot of money when moving. Learning how the country works, you will spend a lot of money. Then when this is I think this most difficult part to choose. I think it's important to visit the country first to see if you like the place and the people and how is the way to live there.
You already mentioned that Europe is slow, and the Americas, both the North and the South, are faster and more business oriented. And being Brazilian, could you tell a little bit more about those differences? What maybe you thought before you moved to Europe and what it turned out to be?
Yeah, I think it's also the period of your life. Like I'm married and I have a son. So I was looking for more quality of life to live in a smaller city, be closer to the work, not spending a lot of time on traffic, eating better, eating local food, this kind of stuff. So I was looking for that. And Americas are all the biggest cities and a lot of movement. You spend a lot of time on traffic. Yeah, you have good food, but it's all from far. Big cities, a lot of people, less quality of life. And looking for Brazil, I also was looking for more security. In Brazil, security is also an issue. I want to have a safer place to live, not thinking about, not stressing myself every day with security of me and my family. So that was important things to look for. And the difference, as I was looking for this, I really was happy when I moved because I found that slowly. Yeah, sometimes I think it's too much. I also think as I'm not used to that, I lived for 30 years in Brazil and then moved to Europe. So I was not used with that slowly life, but I can get used it.
So you are from a big city, right?
Yeah, I was born in a small city, but when I had 15 years old, I moved to a big city. I'm from Curitiba, it's South Brazil. It's near to São Paulo, that most famous.
Interesting. So moving from Brazil to Europe, I think most likely would be moving to a smaller city, to a smaller place as well. And you mentioned that that it's a little bit too slow. So you get tired of super fast, but didn't you get tired of the super slow?
No, sometimes when you are doing business, you want to be faster, yeah? Sometimes you want to have the business and you are doing business and people take some times to answer and have their time, and my time is a little bit faster because I'm Brazilian. But not get tired of that. I can just adapt myself to this new reality. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You mentioned that you've had a career transition in your life. Could you please tell more about it and how you coped with it?
Yeah. So I was a researcher. I did PhD and then more 2 years of postdoc in Brazil. So I was feeling at the same time I did my was learning and starting to teaching the tools of the Rosa method. So did both, and I was starting to feeling that I was not impacting people's life only with my research. So that was the main thing that made me want to change the career. And also there was not a easy market for research in Brazil. I did research in the university. There was a time that was not a lot of fellowships and not too many positions to go and continue with my career. I still love science and I'm keep my studies by myself and always learning. I love to do that. But I thought that making this transition to personal development, I will feel with more purpose on my life to impact directly people to improve theirs. So that was the main thing that made me go further with the career change. I was 8 years on that research, did PhD, and then I just stopped and do it. But I don't think was a loss of time. No, because I love science and I learned to how to read science articles, how to have this scientific thought, and everything makes me know how to share better information, how to translate a scientific difficult topic into a more easy topic and to all kinds of audience.
So you wanted more direct impact on people. I totally get that. And it really resembles something which I felt when I was doing corporate research. I was a strategy market researcher and finance person in corporates. And it also made me wonder, what if I bring the same information to more people? And this is basically why I'm doing the YouTube, the newsletters. This is, I think, a similar transition, but just
Yeah.
in the area of marketing and strategy and business.
Yeah, looking.
Yeah, so on that journey, how did you go out and connect with actual people?
When I was in Brazil, I connect easily because I know people, and one thing goes with another. I know one that presents another person, and then you meet another, and then when you are in your own country, it's easier. Yeah. When I moved to Portugal, there's a lot of schools for the Rose method there. So I was in one of the schools, and that's also helped me to connect to people that are already interested in personal development. And then in Portugal, I also started a project about food. And so the part of eating, mindfulness cooking, teaching how people choose their food. I was more in the food area, but inside the quality of life. And then I started to have a social media. I wanted to share more information, so I started to do the blog, the articles, and now is how I connect with people. Because I moved recently, September last year, to Italy. I don't know many people yet. When I have contact, direct contact is at the school of my son and with the colleagues of my husband, because I work online, so I don't have this direct contact with people here yet. But do this online thing, and I'm also planning to have a presential here also, because this is really important. I think everybody could feel the importance of connecting after the pandemic. Even if we are connecting online, it's not the same. We need to have this, yeah, this presential, this contact, real contact with persons, to feel better, to have mental health. And I started with online, but I want to also make a group here to have this presential courses and workshops.
So the personal connections still do matter in
Do
your
matter,
culture.
yeah. Yeah, it's a human thing for everybody. Yeah, we need personal connections. Yeah. So for me, it's not happening yet because I'm still not for so long here, but it will. The Brazilian, the Brazilians way of seeing things.
What do you mean by Brazilian way of thinking?
Yeah, the Brazilian way of thinking that it's not working yet, but it will. It's a positive thinking that it will works soon. This is one Brazilian kind of thinking that we will try. We try popular saying that we always say, I'm Brazilian, I don't give up. I never give up.
I think we should all be Brazilians a bit, especially in a new environment, because it really does
Mhm.
take time.
Yeah, yeah, sure. It is a good mindset to have this positive thinking and always trying, and something will happen. May not be what you thought it will be, but something good will happen. Yeah.
And just a little note, what surprised you most in Europe? Do you remember?
Okay. I had this 1 year experience in Germany. Germany is really organized and clean and direct, and everything is on the right place. And then I moved to Portugal. Portugal is not organized as Germany. So I was a little bit surprised. I knew that they were not so organized as Germans are, but that surprised me a little bit. I thought Europe is everything okay, more clean, more organized, but no, Portugal, also Italy is not so organized as Germany is. And another thing that I was surprised is the communication. Although we speak the same language, Portuguese, the way Portuguese people communicate is a bit different than Brazilians. Brazilians used to like to please the others. So we speak in a kinder way. We have to say something bad. We say in a way that look to the good way, or just don't say it, to avoid to say it, like let's see how it goes, and then we hope it goes well, something like that. We Brazilians do. In Portugal, no, they are direct. They go to the point. They say it as, so that was a little bit frustrating for me, because it really takes you emotionally, because yeah, you are used to one kind of communication, and then you go, yeah, it's direct to the point. That was a little bit surprising.
Well, the kindness and the positivity, I totally get it. I've never been to Brazil, but I've worked with a Brazilian team for a while. It was in an industrial company, and the company is founded by Russian-speaking people, but they had a plant in Brazil. It was a soya processing plant. And I had a colleague from Brazil who communicated the same way. Each time I called, any question I asked, he answered perfect. Like, Andre, how are you doing? Perfect. Andre, I kindly need that report tomorrow. Yeah, perfect. So everything was perfect for him. And it's, as you mentioned, kindness. And it's always this kind of optimism, I would say.
Yeah.
So how was it for you? How did you fit into that directness?
Yeah, we need to adapt. And I was always good to adapt, I think. But I also have some tools, same tools I teach now.
Let's talk about that.
I teach a method, it's called the HUS method. That is a methodology that give you tools and teach you some habits, some concepts that you need to have more quality of life, to know how to adapt, to know how to be resilient, and how to manage your emotions, how to know yourself, to relate to the others. I think this is the main thing for all humans. You need to know yourself to know how to relate to the others. And this method, we have some tools and we train how to adapt. And how you can train to adapt and be more resilient and is how to manage your stress. So one technique that I think is the most important of all is know how to breathe. So breathing exercises, know how to breathe will give you some freedom to know how to manage your emotions, how to manage your stress. And when you do that, you can be more focused, you can have more clarity of your mind, you can take better decisions, affects everything. You know how you will relate better with others if you know how to manage your emotions, your stress. So I think this is the best technique, and we can do a small one if you want. Yeah, we can do it
Yeah,
together.
sure. But before we I think many people have heard about breathing, like quadrant breathing, when you do it on a certain timing. And when you say breathing exercises, uh, do you mean that it should be some conscious process throughout the day? Or do you mean exercises? Because we breathe naturally all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Anyway.
We do it unconsciously. Yeah, we do it unconsciously. But what happens? When we are a child, we do it correctly. When we get older, we just unlearn it because we have stress, we have a lot of trauma, we have a lot of things happening, and we start to having this short and quick breathing, more like a chest breathing when you are stressful and when you have a hard emotion, a strong emotion like fear or anger. We need to relearn how to breathe as we do when we was a child. So the first thing, make a pause to make your breathing conscious and to pay attention on it. And then when you do this a lot of time and do a lot of pauses during your day, maybe your breathing, your unconscious breathing will start to be more like that it used to be when you're a child.
Oh, so this is a process of conscious breathing throughout the day, not only like 5 minutes a day. I do my exercises and that's it.
You can do that because as a habit, you need to have a time, a schedule, appointment to do. Because if you don't have this appointment, this time that you do the exercise for 5 minutes daily, you will not start, you will not change it. So you need to start with that. And you can also do some exercises like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you want. an exercise to improve your breathing or to have more, to oxygenize your body more, to have more focus. You can do this as an exercise, but you need to start with the conscious breathing with 5
So,
minutes.
so
Yeah.
if I want to start like really small with only 5 minutes and not a big effort to build this new habit, so what do I do?
Yeah. So that was the ideal thing, to start with 5 minutes daily. So let's do it. Let's do it, this exercise really, really small, not 5 minutes, we will do less, just to learn how to breathe again. So put your hands on your abdomen and you will inhale. Okay, inhale and feel your abdomen going out when you inhale. When you exhale, you feel your abdomen going inwards. Exhale, project your abdomen outside. And when exhale, contract your abdomen and the abdomen goes in. This part, the abdomen, to move.
So I'm sorry, Sarah. When we inhale, so breathe the air in, the abdomen, I felt it goes somehow up. When
Yeah, it's a little bit up. Yeah, you can see also the up. Yeah, but it's more out than you. Maybe you need to do a little bit effort. Yeah, you need to be some effort to go out. Okay, because this part, the abdomen, is where our main muscle of breathing is. There is the diaphragm. So when we move the abdomen, the diaphragm moves, and that makes you breathe more air. So it's really important to move your abdomen when you're breathing. So when you feel that you can move your abdomen, then you can go further. You can go to your rib cage. So put your hands on your rib cage a little bit. So let me
so a
move
little
here.
bit further up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you inhale, you will feel your ribcage expands laterally.
Yeah.
Inhale, feel that expands the ribcage. Okay. And then exhale, contracts. You feel this movement, and you can also see that this movement is shorter than the abdomen. Abdomen moves more than this part of the ribcage. Then we go to the third part, that is the chest. That some people just use these parts. So you inhale and the chest goes up. Exhale, chest goes down. And
Oh, so
really
this is the part that goes up. We
this goes
found
up.
it.
Yeah, we found it. The chest goes up. Yeah, here is really up and down. So chest goes up when inhale and goes down when exhale. So now let's put all together. So we're starting with abdomen. Inhale, abdomen out. Inhale, ribcage expands. Inhale, chest goes up. And then when chest goes down, ribcage contracts and also abdomen contracts. This is the whole movement. We call it complete breathing, using all the muscles you have to do your breathing.
So for this entire process, meaning that the inhaling goes like from the bottom to the top, and the exhaling goes like from top to bottom, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh.
So you can do just that. We don't do anything else. Just pay attention to your breathing and pay attention on all your muscles to expand the most your thoracic okay, then you will have more air and you will breathe better, always with your nostrils. Okay, your nose is made to breathe, so with that we use it, and always slowly try to make it slower than you can.
Yeah, actually, even from our little exercise within the podcast, I felt, I would say, more relaxed, but kind of, yeah, like a calm energy, I would describe it.
Yeah. What happens when you have a deep breath is that you activate your parasympathetic nervous system that helps you to manage stress. So your heart beating slows down and your blood pressure goes down. So you have this calm, yes, more calm body. And if you are calm, you can think better.
So would you recommend doing this in the morning or evening? Or maybe middle of the day?
In my experience, I suggest first thing that you wake up and you do it. Because if you just leave for another time, you will not have the time, you will not remember, and you won't. When you start doing and you feel that you need to breathe a break on the middle of the day, sometimes you have a really stressful day, you need a pause in the middle of the day, do it in the middle of the day. If you cannot sleep well, you are really stressful and thinking a lot of things, do it before you go to bed.
This is such a useful technique. I'm definitely gonna try it, and I will share with you later how it goes. It's
Oh,
really
nice.
interesting. Uh, and you were talking about all those systems, and remember that you studied biochemistry, and that's so amazing that you put your scientific background into work. I remember in our previous talk, you told that the Rose method and your method in your consultation is a lot about paying attention to different parts. And you surprised me when you say that I teach people movement and breathing and stress management and healthy eating and like everything what a person needs. And that surprised me so much. So, could you tell us more about the paying attention part? So, how does a person pay attention to their health and well-being?
Okay, how to pay attention yourself, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. That's also training because we are always looking for looking outside information, other people, your job. Every time you are looking outside, and you need a time to look inside, looking to yourself. This breathing exercise I gave you, it's a really nice exercise also to pay attention on yourself. You start to pay attention on your breathing and you start to pay attention on your emotions and on your thoughts and everything. So now people say that call it mindfulness. It's very famous
Yeah.
mindfulness. This breathing exercise is a mindfulness exercise. So everything that puts your attention on your body, on your thoughts, on your emotions is a mindfulness exercise. You can do it as a moment that you do this. You can also practice on your daily tasks. As for example, when you are eating, you pay attention on your food, on the taste, on the smell, on the texture, and not looking something on your phone.
Eating. So if people are watching this and eating right now, please enjoy your food, finish, and then
Yeah,
continue.
stop, make a pause, enjoy your food, and then. So I know that we have a lot of things to do. Sometimes we try to use our time the best we can, and we listen stuff and do a lot of things. But it's also important during your day to have a time to just do one thing at a time and just pay attention on yourself on anything you can do. Can be this breathing exercise, can do you go for a run and you just do that. You pay attention to your muscles and your breathing when you are doing your run. Anything. You can choose one time, one thing that you do on your day to just pay attention on the present. Be there. Just be there.
Wow, this is like an exercise without extra exercise because when you mentioned running, I do a lot of running and I usually pay attention because I need to improve my technique, but it's really the same thing.
Yeah, you pay attention your movement, your body. Yeah, and this will improve. Of course, you improve your technique, but it also will improve your self-consciousness because you're paying attention on your body or you're paying attention how you're breathing. It's a mindfulness exercise. Yeah.
Yeah. You consult on a lot of things in wellness. You mentioned exercises, breathing, and nutrition and everything. But from working with clients, what would you say is the most underappreciated or underserved area? Like, what are people usually lacking in their life?
It depends. Yeah, each person is different. Sometimes people don't worry about your food. And sometimes people think that just making a run once a week is enough for body health, but it's not. Now the recent papers, researchers found that we need to move a lot of times during the day because we are used to be here in front of the computer the whole day. So we spend 8 hours sitting and then we will run 30 minutes, 1 hour. That's not the best. Okay, it's good. You are doing something. The best will be 1 hour here and then move your body a little bit. Some people don't know how to manage emotion. I think this is the hardest one. To manage stress, manage emotions is the hardest. It's a work that you will do for the whole life.
Yeah, the stress and emotion management is hard because with exercise and food, it's more or less clear. So people understand that they need to do it. They can read a book or watch some videos or hire a coach who is going to teach them how to implement that system into their life. And basically, they just do exercise or they prepare the food or they, for example, do those breathing exercises, something like that. But with the stress management, what does it really start with? Like, what do I do if I decide to pay attention to that one?
Yeah, you need to have a method or something, someone that helps you to do that because it's all about self-awareness. So, beginning. The pay attention on yourself. You need to understand why you feel that emotion. What triggers that emotion you? Something that happens can trigger you angry in another person triggers nothing. So why this happened to you? You need to be aware of that. You can use mindfulness. You can use psychologist. You can use another therapist to do that. But you need to find something that you like to pay attention on yourself and to develop self-knowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
that is hard. Yeah, not easy. I started 20 years ago and I'm still working on it. I need to work this my whole life to know how to manage and doing all the time.
you mentioned that you need to find something that you like for this paying attention because we totally all get it that if you don't like something, it's hard to maintain
Mhm.
that discipline. Can
Yeah.
you share what helps you personally to maintain that journey to go on it?
Yeah. I have tried some therapy, some psychologists, but I didn't find one that I really could connect. So for me, it was not a method that I will use. But as I started the Rose method really young, I had 17 years old. I have this as a lifestyle. So I really connect with the method and I use all the tools and since I was 17. So this was something that I like it.
And so, what are the key tools that you are using for yourself? And
Yeah, it's the exercises, breathing, also to work my body and pay attention. It's mindfulness. It's resumed as mindfulness. Yes. Everything I do pay attention on myself, on my body, or focus my thoughts on what I'm doing and guiding my conscience for what I want. So I'm always trying to be more aware of what I'm doing.
Mm.
So that gives me the consciousness to to know, oh, okay, I'm getting angry because he said something that affects my ego, and okay, I do these dialogues, internal dialogues. I felt angry, I felt sad, and okay. And after I do this association, yeah, after the moment has passed, I think, okay, why I got so sad? Why? Okay, that happens, and that is linked with that. So I do my own therapy on my mind because I'm aware, because I'm always paying attention on the things on myself, and that's a training. Yeah, that's a training. You can also use a journal. I tried also, but I'm not a good writer, and I feel myself stupid writing something that I'm just thinking. Oh, it's for me. It's not working for me. But studies say that when you're writing, you can think better, and you can make more connections about what you're writing. So it's a good method. Just write what you feel, what you're thinking, what happened, and then you can understand better the situation.
Let me share something I've come up recently, and it's still like stuck in my head. It's about one AI startup who say that they would be like the vault, remembering things for keeping the state of the mind. Because you see, we live in the world that forgets everything. So human brain, I think you would say that it's true that we forget 80, 90% of everything that we ever do and especially think, because the thoughts flow in the mind so quickly. And so this startup, they are putting this idea like, what if with the AI, we live in the world that doesn't forget, that we keep all our memories, all of our thoughts from the past, and uh, we can really compare, we can really learn from those past thoughts. Uh, what do you think about that, especially being a biochemist? And well, great.
Yeah, we forget a lot because the brain is not unlimited. To be more effective, to work better, we need to forget something to have more information. And because we are not paying attention, we are always distracted with a lot of things. If you are not paying attention, you will not remember it. So what you makes you remember something is when something activates your emotions, or something that is new that you need to pay attention. So this kind of stuff you will remember. And also when you have something, a situation, and then you store the memory, that memory is not the same as what you have lived, because it's the memory, so it's already processed, it's different. Your brain works in something, so everything will contribute to make your memory that's only yours. If me and you are living something, having a moment, I would describe one way, you will describe another way, because we lived differently.
Yeah, so and I've just realized that this paying attention is noticing the little details, but it's also about the person. As you've said, you and me are having the same conversation, but because we are very different people, we are gonna remember this experience a bit differently.
Of course.
And I just realized that this paying attention is really a tool for self development, for understanding like your own personality.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. And could you share the resources, like books or maybe links, or maybe your own materials that people could read to understand more about this topic?
Sure. About the Rosa method, there are some books that are in English, not all the material. Most are in Portuguese, but you can access on the Rose ebooks. There are some samples you can read, and also some books, ebooks to buy. My platform is called Intellivita. I have a blog when I share this kind of stuff, and techniques and science and everything I know. I try to put always once a month. I will try to do it once a month, but there's a lot of material already there on my blog and also on LinkedIn. I have the same articles on LinkedIn. There's one book about breathing that is really interesting. It's called Breath, the Lost Art. I think it's the Lost Art from Nestor James, and I'm also open to answer if you need to connect and ask for more specific things. You can always send me a message and I will help.
Yeah. So, today we have talked about the wellness approaches, tried some breathing exercises, also discussed the immigration and different ways of thinking in Brazil versus Europe. And it was really fun discussing the different ways of managing stress, of managing your own wellness. And Sarah mentioned the key is to pay attention to yourself. And this is the topic I guess I'm going to be discussing more on this podcast. I'm really happy that you were here, Sarah. It was a great chat. And yeah, we'll share all the information with our listeners. And hopefully it's going to help people to pay attention and be more mindful and connect better with themselves in the first place.
Thank you, Jane. It was a pleasure to be here and to share all the stuff.